I never thought I'd end up in a situation like this. If someone had told me a year ago that I'd be on the brink of destroying my friendship for a few hours of passion, I would have laughed. But now here I am, with guilt eating me from the inside out and memories of what happened last night. My best friend Michael and I had been friends since college. We shared everything: studies, work, parties, even secret crushes on girls at university. When he met Clara, I thought I'd found the perfect girl for him, and soon my envy of their happiness turned into pure respect and joy for my friend. We often hung out as a trio, me, Michael, and Clara. They were, well, the ideal couple, always together, always supporting each other. I valued Clara as a friend, but I was honest with myself. She attracted me far more than I wanted to admit. And then 3 months ago, Michael and Clara broke up. The reasons were banal: we've become too different, no future, misunderstandings. I heard these words from Michael over the phone when he called me at night after another argument with Clara. He was devastated, and I tried to be there for him as a friend, as support. I thought that after the breakup, everything would get simpler. Michael would suffer, Clara and I would remain friends, and life would go on. But I didn't account for one thing: how quickly closeness and shared memories can turn friendship into temptation. A few weeks after their breakup, Clara started spending more time with me. At first, it was innocent meetings: coffee, walks, talks about Michael, about her feelings, about her new life. She laughed, complained, asked for advice. And I responded, supported. Too much, if I'm honest. One evening, we met at a bar after work. We talked, laughed, shared memories of old times. I noticed how her gaze lingered on me, how her hand accidentally touched mine, how she laughed too close. I tried to brush it off, thinking, not now, not like this. But an inner voice whispered, seize the moment. It's not betrayal, it's a chance. And then that moment came. We left the bar and went to her place, supposedly to continue the conversation. In the apartment, it was quiet, just the soft light of a lamp and muted music. We sat on the couch, and the conversation shifted to more personal territory. Her worries, my support, memories of Michael. I felt her leaning closer. I knew we were crossing a line, but in that moment reason shut off. And it happened. A few hours of passion, shame, and at the same time, sensual closeness. I saw her eyes, felt her breath, and understood that this would forever change my friendship with Michael. In the morning, I sat in Clara's kitchen with a mug of coffee, chaos thundering in my head. We were silent, both understanding that this was something more than just a random mistake. I thought about Michael, about our brotherhood, about the trust I'd just betrayed. Clara looked confused but satisfied. We need to talk, I said, feeling bitterness rising in my chest. I know, she replied quietly. I don't know how this will affect Michael, but I feel something too. From that day on, everything changed. Every conversation we had was a mix of passion and guilt. Every glance was a test of who would give in first or tell Michael the truth. I understood that we were playing with fire, and the further we went, the stronger the pain would be when the truth came out. The days after that night turned into torturous waiting. I went to work, met with friends, pretended everything was normal, but inside, guilt was boiling. I realized that every step I took could destroy what I'd carefully built with Michael over the years. Clara and I tried to act naturally. We talked about her feelings after the breakup, about shared memories with Michael. Sometimes our conversations ended too close, sometimes in cold silence. We both knew we'd crossed an invisible boundary, but no one could stop this chemical reaction pulling us toward each other. One evening, Michael called me. His voice was trembling, which was unusual. Hey, can we meet? Need to talk about Clara. I felt a punch to the heart. What could he know? Did he sense something? I tried to sound calm. Of course, bro. Where should we meet? We met at the same bar where our story with Clara had begun. Michael looked tired and upset. He sat across from me, his eyes full of worry. I don't know how to say this, he started. I see that Clara has changed, she's different, and I'm afraid I missed something. I felt bitterness rising in my chest. Should I tell the truth now? Silence seemed safer, but the lie was choking me from the inside. Michael, I began cautiously, she didn't cheat on you, but there are things better discussed carefully. He leaned closer, eyes narrowed. You know something, don't you? I felt the ground slipping from under my feet. Telling the truth now meant losing the friendship forever. Keeping quiet meant carrying this burden eternally. In that moment, I realized that Clara and I hadn't just betrayed Michael. We'd betrayed ourselves, our values, our moral compass. The following weeks became a nightmare. Every time Michael mentioned Clara, I felt shame. When I met with her, the passion was still strong, but along with it grew the guilt. Every glance, every touch became a reminder that we were ruining someone else's life. Clara tried to justify it all with words. Michael and I aren't together anymore. We can be honest with ourselves. I replied the same. But honesty has a price. We can't just erase the past. We tried to avoid Michael, but it became almost impossible. He saw us together at work, noticed our glances, laughter, accidental touches. His suspicions grew like a snowball. I felt that every day could be the last for our hidden romance. One day, Michael approached me in the parking lot. I don't know what's going on between you two, but I see it. If there's something, tell me straight. I stayed silent. The words stuck in my throat. I couldn't destroy his life all at once, but hiding the truth every day was like living with a knife in my heart. Inside me, a sense of destruction was building. I understood that what Clara and I had started couldn't end well, and even if we tried to keep it all secret, the moral cost was too high. Weeks of silence drove me to the edge. Every call from Michael, every random appearance at work or the bar reminded me that the secret wouldn't stay secret for long. I saw his eyes searching for answers, how he noticed the smallest details, our hidden closeness, quiet glances, barely noticeable smiles. One Friday evening, Michael called unexpectedly. His voice was cold. I want to meet today, no excuses. I felt my heart freeze. I knew this evening would change everything. We met at the old cafe where we once discussed our dreams, projects, and just life. Michael sat across from me, his eyes shining with a mix of hurt and worry. Something's going on between you and Clara, he said straight out. I see it, don't try to hide it. I tried to compose myself, but the words stuck in my throat. A deep breath, a pause, and I began. Michael, I don't know where to start, everything you see. It's true, but the reason is more complicated than it seems. His gaze became piercing. More complicated, you mean you too? Yes, I exhaled. Clara and I were close, I can't deny it. Silence fell instantly. We sat across from each other, and it seemed like time had stopped. Michael clenched his fists, trying to hold back his emotions. After everything I've done for you, after I supported Clara, cared for her, you betrayed me. It wasn't planned. I started, but realized any words sounded like excuses. Michael stood up, his eyes blazing with rage. You've destroyed everything we had. You've destroyed our friendship. And Clara, she just let this happen. She was confused too, I replied quietly. We both were. It's a mistake, but we can't undo what happened. He fell silent, as if trying to digest it. Then he turned sharply and left the cafe, leaving me alone with the bitter taste of regret. The next day, the atmosphere at work was tense. Michael avoided Clara and me, but his glances still found us. I felt the trust we'd built over years crumbling before my eyes. Clara tried to calm me. Everything will be fine if we're careful. We can be together, but we need time. I understood her words, but the inner anxiety wouldn't let go. Every step, every action was like playing with fire. I saw how Michael gradually pieced together the details, how his suspicions turned into conviction. One evening, as I was heading home, I got a message from Michael. We need to talk, tomorrow, don't avoid it. I knew tomorrow would be decisive. The next morning was oppressive. I felt every movement heavy, as if a burden of unspoken truth weighed on my shoulders. Michael had set the meeting at the same cafe where we'd first discussed our life plans. I arrived first, trying to gather myself, but my heart was pounding like a drum. A few minutes later, Michael entered, his eyes burning with a mix of hurt and anger. He sat across from me, not saying a word, just sighing deeply, as if about to spill everything at once. "Start," he finally said, barely controlling his voice. "Why did you do it? After 5 years of friendship, after everything I've done for you. Why?" I felt the words stick in my throat. How many times I'd tried to explain, to justify, and now I realized no words could lessen the pain I'd caused. "Michael, it wasn't planned," I began cautiously. "It happened. Clara and I. We both got tangled up. It's a mistake and I'm truly sorry." He leaned back sharply in his chair. "A mistake? You call this a mistake? You've ruined my life, you've ruined our friendship. And Clara, did she just let this happen?" I started. "She was confused too. She didn't want to hurt you." Silence. Michael clenched his fists, and I saw the tension inside him growing. His eyes flashed like lightning, and his voice carried pain that couldn't be ignored. "I trusted both of you," he shouted. "I let you be part of our life, knowing I could rely on your honesty and you." "I know," I interrupted, "and I can't change what happened, but I can be honest now." He stood up abruptly, slamming his fist on the table. The cups trembled, coffee spilled on the tablecloth. You don't understand how this feels. 5 years of friendship, support through all the hardships, and you just betrayed." "Michael, I raised my hands, feeling hopelessness. "I didn't want this, but we both made a mistake." "A mistake? This is more than a mistake." His voice trembled with anger and pain. "You betrayed me, you betrayed yourself." In that moment, I realized no explanations could restore the lost trust. Everything we'd built over years was destroyed. We sat across from each other, two people bound by memories, now standing on opposite sides. After that conversation, a silence fell that couldn't be broken by words. Michael left first, leaving me with emptiness inside. Clara tried to comfort me at home, but I felt an invisible crack had appeared between us. I saw her eyes full of doubts and fear, but I also felt disappointment, not in her but in myself. At work, relations with Michael became cold. He avoided me, and every glance was filled with judgment. I understood we were no longer friends. We'd become strangers who were once closer than family. Clara tried to be there, but the tension between us grew. Every touch, every word reminded us of the past. And I realized the consequences of our actions would haunt us for a long time. Several weeks passed after the confrontation in the cafe. Michael completely ignored me. Even in work meetings, we didn't exchange a word. I felt an emptiness slowly consuming me from within. Every day reminded me that I'd destroyed not only the friendship but also a part of myself. Clara tried to maintain the relationship, but there was no longer that lightness and trust between us. We lived together, but as if in different worlds. Her glances and smiles seemed forced, and conversations strained. I understood I'd done the impossible, destroyed the harmony we'd built over years. At work, the situation changed too. Friends and colleagues who once saw me as part of the team started avoiding me. Rumors about me fucking my best friend's wife spread like wildfire. People began treating me with caution and hidden judgment. I felt like an outcast, even though formally everything remained the same. One night, sitting in the empty apartment, I picked up my phone and scrolled through old photos with Michael. We laughed, made plans, shared secrets. Every memory now felt like an insult to my conscience. I realized no explanations could erase this. Clara came over and sat next to me. "I see it's hard for you," she said quietly, "but we're not who we were before." "I know," I replied, holding back tears, "and I'm scared to think about the future." "Maybe we just need time," she suggested. but I'm not sure we can restore what we've lost. I nodded, understanding that an insurmountable abyss had formed between us. The love that was once our support had now become a source of pain. The next day, I decided to meet Michael again, even though I knew it might finally destroy the remnants of our friendship. We met in the park where we used to walk together often. He sat across, his eyes full of cold resolve. "I want you to know," he said, "that I can't be part of your life anymore. I forgive, but I won't forget." I felt tears welling up in my eyes. "I understand, and I'm sorry," I said quietly. "It's my fault and I'll accept the consequences." We said goodbye, understanding there was no way back. The friendship that seemed unbreakable was destroyed forever. Several months passed. Clara and I continued living together, but our relationship was never the same. We learned to endure, but the joy and trust were gone forever. Every day reminded us how one decision can change everything: friendship, love, and self-esteem. I often thought of Michael and our old conversations. Sometimes it seemed like I should have acted differently, found the strength to resist the temptation. But reality was harsh. The past can't be changed, and all we can do is live with the consequences. And so, sitting in the empty apartment one evening, I realized one bitter truth. Betrayal leaves scars not only on those you've betrayed, but on yourself as well.